Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Midday Prime. I'm Gautam Roy. Over the next 1 hour, we'll take you through all the updates that we've been getting through the day from across the country as well as the world. We'll get you an update on the situation due to the heavy rains in Kerala. Over 25 people have been killed because of different incidents there already. I'll also tell you how India is making rapid progress in the battle against COVID-19 as well. Another landmark has been achieved today. But first, as always, our big news of the hour. Heavy rains throw life out of gear in Kerala. More than 25 people dead in rain-related incidents. Red alert issued as dams cross full reservoir capacity. NDRF, Army, Navy teams deployed across the state. Red alert for heavy rains in Uttarakhand and western Uttar Pradesh. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Dhami takes stock of the emergency preparedness. Schools to remain closed in the state today. Heavy rains in Delhi and western Uttar Pradesh as well. The BJP takes a swipe at the Congress for disrespecting Sardar Patel in its CWC meeting. The party also targets the Congress for taking all credit for only one family. Historic day for boosting development in Jammu and Kashmir. MOU signed between Dubai and Jammu and Kashmir for infrastructure development, tourism infrastructure, health and education facilities in a major way. Big success for India's fight against COVID-19. Daily cases at a 9-month low at around 13,000 fresh cases. Mumbai records 0 COVID deaths in 18 months. Vaccination too nears 98 crore mark. On his first Israel visit, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar's intimate interaction with the Indian Jewish community there. Lord's Indian Jewish community's role in India's development. International crude oil prices climb to highest in years as COVID recovery, power generators stoke demand. China refinery throughput hits 16-month low as quota power crunch bite. And in sports and cricket, Scotland stunned Bangladesh by 6 runs in their first match of the T20 World Cup 2021. India to play against England in the first warm-up match later today. Well, as we indicated, the big news today is all about the torrential October rains hitting large parts of the country, starting from Kerala up to the season's first snowfall in Ladakh. Heavy rains have been battering Kerala, triggering landslides and floods, which have left many people dead and has wreaked havoc across Pathanamthitta, Kottayam and Idukki districts. Floods have been triggered by heavy rains. They've led to loss of lives and property in the southern state and brought normal life to a complete halt. 3 more bodies have been recovered from Kottayam landslide spot. With this, the total number of people who've been killed in recent rain-related incidents has climbed to over 25 in the state due to this unseasonal heavy rainfall. Kottayam has been battered the most. The remote areas of the district have lost contact and dams are overflowing. Many villages have reported damage due to landslides in the state. Rescue operations are underway by the Indian Army and the Navy in affected areas as well. A red alert has been sounded in Idukki as many dams are overflowing. Meanwhile, massive efforts are also underway in Kochi to evacuate trapped people through naval helicopters. Huge damage has also been reported in Kozhikode district. In Alappuzha district, due to water logging in low-lying areas of Kuttand, hundreds of people have been shifted to relief camps. The shutters of Kakki Dam in Alappuzha district will be raised today as the water level has reached much above its normal capacity. High alert has been issued for people resided near Kakki Dam. Excuse me. Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan has meanwhile urged people in the state to remain cautious and prepare themselves to move to a relief camp, higher ground or safer localities if requested by government officials. In view of the situation worsening due to the heavy rains in the state government has issued an advisory for tourists not to travel at night for the time being, and Sabrimala devotees have been urged to cancel their travel till the 18th of October. The Yatra will resume on the 19th, which is tomorrow. Also, higher educational institutions in the state, which were to be opened from Monday, will remain closed for the time being, and examinations have been postponed for the next 2 days. The Kerala government has announced an ex gratia of 4 lakh rupees to the next of kin of those who have been killed in these rain-related incidents. The number is right now over 25. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has also expressed anguish over the loss of lives in Kerala. The Vice President in a tweet said, and I quote, "Deeply distressed by the loss of lives due to the floods in Kerala. My deepest condolences to the bereaved families and prayers for the safety of those who've been affected by the floods. I'm sure the state and central governments are doing their best to provide relief and succor to the affected people." Like we've been mentioning, heavy rains have thrown land completely out of gear in Kerala, large parts of it, more than 25 people dead. Let's go across to my colleague on the phone line and find out more about this. We have Joseph Martin joining us from Kochi on this. Beg your pardon, he's live with us. Joseph, just tell us in terms of the latest situation. I'm sure a lot of precautions are being taken, yet lives are being lost. So what is the overall situation now and what is the preparedness?
Gautam, so far 26 persons have lost their lives in the recent rain havoc in Kerala. And I would like to give you a split up of the district-wise split up. In the landslide, there are two factors involved. One is the landslide, because of the landslide. The other one is because of the flood waters. Flood waters means falling into the river, being washed away from the place. All these things are attributed to the flood water. Now, let me tell you that in Idukki, 8 people have died, lost their lives due to landslide, and 2 due to falling in the river or being washed away. And in Kottayam, 11 people have lost their life due to landslide and 3 due to flood waters. In Thiruvananthapuram, 1 person lost his life because he fell into a waterlogged area and he lost his life. And 1 boy in Kottarakara lost his life because of the flood waters. This is the situation now. The total official count is 26. Two more. They are searching for 2 more people, missing persons, and the search is going on. And the search will go on for a few more days. It is expected so. And NDRF and Army, Navy, and the state force they are all jointly doing the rescue and search and rescue operations in the most affected area. And now coming to the dams are the smaller dams are being opened in a slow fashion, in a regulated manner, and the water is let out into the rivers, and they are monitoring the water level so that it doesn't cross the danger mark. Now there are about 10 dams which are identified in the red alert area. Red alert means that they are nearing the full capacity of the of storage.
Right.
Because they are also, the IMD has also issued a notice, issued a warning saying that there could be another rain which could be brought in by the western winds, and this could there are all possibilities that the rain could happen in the catchment area. It's a vast area wherein if the rain falls, it gathers all the water to the dam and it has to be flushed out. So the Chief Minister has convened a meeting regarding this with the higher officials of the state and ministers too, and they have handed the matter to they have given the discriminatory power to the high level persons to decide upon how and when the dam shutters should be opened, and they will decide on. As for now, the larger dams are not yet open, they will be opened in a slow and in a regulated manner, so that it will not touch the danger mark. And the people in the lower-lying areas and on the river banks, they have been shifted to the much safer places like relief camps and so on. Now, 18 relief camps are functioning in across Kerala, and mostly they are being concentrated in the most affected area. And now the Navy is not doing any aerial operations right now. They are ready for any emergency. They are ready. They are ready with the choppers. Even the Air Force choppers are also ready in Southern Naval Command with the divers and experts on such rescue operations, plus their equipments. They are ready 24/7 to attend to any emergency if required. And ex gratia is announced by the state for the next of kin of the deceased person.
Yes. Just tell us, in such a situation when more rain is forecast and the situation with the dams remains pretty precarious and more water could be released downstream in the rivers, how are people coping with the situation? You say there are 18 relief camps. How are things there? And are people, are they thinking that they're safe in those relief camps?
See, what really happened with the landslide is they were taken by surprise. Now, they were not prepared that a landslide could occur in such and such places. So they were in the house when it was raining. They were in the house and they were taken by surprise. This is what really happened. Now they are shifted to safer places because you know that Kerala is having about 44 rivers, and it is if a flooding happens, it could nearly every part of the state could be affected because of flood. The river could swell in such a fashion that most of the land would be underwater. This is what happened in 2018.
Yes.
Now the dams are being regulated because it has to be monitored, because once the dam is open, a gush of water will come in, and different dams from different locations, then this could create a problem. So it has to be monitored, expert advice has to be taken, and then it has to be opened in a regular monitored fashion.
Yes, it remains a very precarious situation as you put across. Thanks a lot for joining us for the moment with that update, and we'll keep in touch for later on through the day as well. Thank you for now. Now let's move to the north, because the problem with the rains is there in Uttarakhand as well, where a red alert warning of heavy to very heavy rains has been issued for isolated places, namely Dehradun, Tehri, Almora, Pauri, Haridwar, Champawat as well as Nainital. So it's across both the regions, Garhwal as well as the other side, which is Kumaon. Now, in view of the weather warning in the state, the government has directed all district administration to remain on alert mode. Meanwhile, in the wake of the heavy rains, a holiday has been declared today in government and non-government schools, including Dehradun, Nainital, Chamoli and Haridwar, besides other districts. Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami has assured that all arrangements are in place to take care of any emergency situation. Dhami also inquired about the situation in the state in view of the heavy rains. The Chief Minister directed that police, SDRF and other personnel concerned should be kept on high alert to sensitive places. He said that special care should be taken on the Char Dham Yatra route as well. And if you look at what's happening in Himachal, where Lahore Spiti district in the state and upper reaches of Badrinath and Uttarakhand received snowfall today. The IMD also reported that the mercury has dropped in this district, especially in Pipalkoti, Ghat and Pokhari areas, including district headquarters Gopeshwar. The areas at higher altitudes have also received snowfall. And in the plains, the national capital region and Delhi in particular, the national capital also witnessed rains, and this has been happening since Sunday. The Met Department has predicted thunderstorms with moderate intensity rain, with heavy intensity rain as well over isolated places that will continue to take place over and adjoining areas of the national capital during the day as well. A western disturbance lies as a cyclonic circulation over southern parts of Afghanistan and the neighborhood in lower levels, with a trough aloft in mid tropospheric westerlies. Due to the interaction between the western disturbance and strong lower level easterlies associated with the remnant cyclonic circulation, the IMD has forecast light to moderate rainfall at most places, with heavy to very heavy rainfall at isolated places for even Monday apart from Sunday over Delhi NCR, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh and Western Uttar Pradesh, apart from Haryana, Chandigarh and East Rajasthan. Also, heavy rains along with thunderstorm have been lashing Delhi NCR. The IMD has forecast further thunderstorms, heavy rains in parts of Delhi NCR. Now, India, that is the Met Department, the IMD has predicted the situation to improve in the next 12 hours. DGIMD has also issued a red alert for Western Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand. A low pressure system over Bay of Bengal will cause further rainfall in different parts of the country till the 21st of October over eastern parts of the country, also in the northeast as well.
Incessant rain has been taking place in many parts of the country, and to talk more about that, I have with me DG IMD Dr. Mohapatra. Sir, we have seen the last couple of days, especially in Kerala, the situation turned pretty bad, but we have been told by the IMD, the latest bulletin, that things are improving gradually. What is the latest on that?
Yeah. The heavy to extremely heavy rainfall, whatever has occurred over Kerala, that has been because of the low pressure system which was lying nearby to Kerala. That has become unimportant yesterday itself, and therefore rainfall has significantly decreased. From the satellite picture also you can see that there is not much convective cloud except some northern parts of Kerala. So light to moderate rainfall can occur today, and no heavy rainfall is expected over Kerala.
And also, sir, IMD has issued a red alert for Uttarakhand and Western UP. What is the situation in here? We can see the convecting clouds here.
Yeah. So whatever is happening over northwest India, especially Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh, Delhi and UP, West MP and East Rajasthan, it is mainly because of a low pressure area which is centered over southwest Madhya Pradesh. And at the same time there is a western disturbance, very active western disturbance, which is now located over Afghanistan to central part of Arabian Sea across Pakistan. This cloud mass is associated with the interaction of this western disturbance and the low pressure systems. So as a result, there has been heavy to extremely heavy rainfall activity over Uttarakhand and West UP, and there has been heavy to very heavy rainfall activity over Haryana, Madhya Pradesh and adjoining areas of East Rajasthan. So we are expecting that today there will be also heavy to very heavy rainfall at a few places and extremely heavy rainfall at isolated places over West UP and Uttarakhand.
So low pressure area has also been found here in the eastern part of the country. What is the latest on that?
A low pressure area lies over coastal areas of Ganges, West Bengal and neighborhood. Under its influence you can find out convective cloud mass over Jharkhand and Ganges, West Bengal and adjoining Odisha. And there is also very strong easterly winds penetrating towards the Gangetic plains from Bay of Bengal in association with this system, and also the low pressure area over southeast Madhya Pradesh. So what we expect actually, heavy to very heavy rainfall is likely over Ganges, West Bengal, and heavy rainfall over Jharkhand and adjoining North Odisha during the next 24 hours. From tomorrow onwards, there will be activity over East UP and Bihar. Heavy rainfall can be expected, and southern West Bengal and northeastern states also will get heavy rainfall activity on 28th and 21st.
And so that was DG IMD Mohapatra telling us that red alert has been issued for both Western UP along with Uttarakhand, but the situation is expected to improve significantly in the next 24 hours. With camera person Mohit Joshi, this is Tapas Bhattacharya, DD India, Delhi.
In fact, Tapas Bhattacharya is now joining us live as well for more on the situation, the weather, especially the unseasonal rain. Tapas, from what you spoke with the IMD DG about, it's clear that while the situation because of the western disturbance in the northern and northwestern parts of the country might improve, say another 12 hours, but another weather system is developing over the eastern and northeastern parts of the country that will bring in heavy rain onto that side of the country now.
Absolutely, and that is the main worry factor, because what is right now the situation is such that the currently the western disturbance along with the easterlies is expected to shift focus from northwest India to the eastern parts towards Bihar and other areas, and it is expected to reduce its the rainfall activity. But the low pressure area that has actually formed in the Bay of Bengal, it is expected that an intense spell of rainfall activity is likely over the eastern part of the country from 20th onwards, and it will reach to northeast on 21st. So it is expected that from 20th and 21st, intense rainfall activity is expected over the eastern states along with the northeast states. We have also been told that a fresh spell of rainfall activity over the southern peninsula is also likely from the 20th of October. So for people who have been thinking that especially in the southern peninsula and along with the eastern part of the country, one expect that by 20th and 21st, fresh intense spell of rainfall activity will take place. But for Delhi, along with the other Uttarakhand and Himachal, it is expected that by today evening, the situation will start gradually improving, and by tomorrow, it is expected to mitigate further. But next 24 hours is very important, very crucial for IMD. It has in fact been constantly in touch with the NDRF along with the state disaster relief authorities in different places. For instance, in Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh and the western UP, they've been working in tandem with the authorities to make sure that no untoward incident take place. But they've been giving warning to the states regarding the intense spell of rain that has taken place from today morning, especially in Uttarakhand, where red alert has been sounded, and also in western UP. We have seen, in fact, in Delhi NCR also experiencing from yesterday night till today morning moderate, light to moderate rainfall activity.
Yes.
It is expected that
let's take a longer view now, because we're running pictures of snowfall in places like Ladakh and upper reaches of Himachal Pradesh and even Uttarakhand. Places like Lahore, Spiti and Himachal have got the season's first snowfall. Ladakh has got season's first snowfall. So if you take the longer view, what does this mean for the upcoming winter season? Is the snowfall too early? Is it on time? Is it late? Because we saw the monsoon was delayed. What's going to happen with the winters?
Well, the winter is expected to start somewhere in the region at the end of October and the next November, of middle of November. But it is too early. It is basically right now the whole what you call this rainfall activity along with the snowfall activity happened because of the combination of two factors: the western disturbance and the easterly, the withdrawal of the easterlies and a strong current that has blown. So keeping those two. This particular activity has actually taken place because of that, and when the upper reaches of the atmosphere cools down considerably, the rainfall along with the spell of this snowfall activity takes place. But in terms of winter season, it is it will start taking place in its own due course of time, as we have already discussed earlier that the withdrawal of monsoon is taking place, and once the withdrawal of monsoon takes place, the arrival or the onset of the winter season will start taking place. So that will happen in due course of time. But as I said, right now the situation is such that the rainfall activity, the intense rainfall activity in Uttarakhand and the upper reaches of the Gangetic Plains, along with the the easterly, the strong easterlies that actually makes presence because of monsoon. That actually combining these two factors actually is leading to such weather condition in both Uttaranchal, along Uttarakhand and the upper reaches of the Gangetic Plains.
Okay, Tapas, let's hope that this sort of a situation with this unseasonal rain does not persist for too long, and the spell of rain or heavy rain that is expected in the east and northeast is also brief for the time being, and the winters are on time and pleasant ones. Thanks a lot for joining us for the moment. Okay, now we'll get to what is part of our national pride. Well, we're shifting to politics now. The BJP has slammed the Congress for misleading people of Jammu and Kashmir. The party spokesperson Sambit Patra has said that during the Congress Working Committee meeting which was held recently, Sardar Patel and Jinnah were held responsible for keeping Kashmir separate from India. Patra asked senior Congress leaders Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi whether they objected to such derogatory remarks or not.
की बैठक में सीनियर लीडर कांग्रेस पार्टी के और सीडब्ल्यूसी के सदस्य तारिक हमीद कारा, इन्होंने कश्मीर को लेकर एक भ्रम का वातावरण बनाया और उन्होंने यह भी कहा कि जवाहरलाल नेहरू ही वो व्यक्ति हैं, हिंदुस्तान के प्रथम प्रधानमंत्री, जिन्होंने जम्मू कश्मीर को हिंदुस्तान में इंटीग्रेट किया, जबकि सरदार पटेल वह व्यक्ति है जिनकी भरसक कोशिश रही कि किस प्रकार से जम्मू कश्मीर को हिंदुस्तान से अलग रखा जाए। जब पटेल को इस प्रकार से विलीफाई किया जा रहा था, when Sardar Patel was being vilified in the CWC meet, did Sonia Gandhi, the president of Congress party, and Rahul Gandhi object to it?
So some serious questions there for the leadership of the Congress party. Meanwhile, BJP's office bearers are meeting, and that meeting is underway at the party headquarters in the national capital. Party President JP Nadda is chairing the meeting. BJP General Secretaries, National Secretaries, Vice President and Morcha chiefs along with national spokespersons are present at the meeting. The meeting assumes significance in the context of the Lotus Party's preparations for the upcoming 5 state assembly elections next year. The poll-bound states are Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Goa, Manipur and Punjab. The BJP is discussing strengthening the organization and assigning responsibilities to its office bearers ahead of the state poll battles next year. Let's get more on this. Vishal Baristo, my colleague, is joining us for more on this. Good afternoon to you, Vishal. What can you tell us about what kind of a strategy is being formulated by the BJP that takes into account not just the 5 assembly elections but the prevailing political situation in the state, which is also about farmers' protests, it's about price hikes, fuel and other things as well?
Well, a very good afternoon to you, Gautam. Yes, this is a very, very crucial meeting, and in fact, first after JP Nadda took over as the national president, keeping in view the COVID protocol. And next month, the BJP is having its national executive meeting, so this is going to be very, very crucial, keeping in view the 5 state elections. But there are other issues as well. The farmer issue is one, Lakhimpur Kheri issue is also there, and the vaccination drive taken up by the Modi government. So these are the issues that have been taken care of, and we are expecting elections early next year in the 5 states including UP, and UP is going to be the focus of Bharatiya Janata Party. Prime Ministers would be visiting the state, but at the same time the development work has been taken at a very great extent, and Lakhimpur incident, though the opposition tried to raise the issue, but BJP is focusing on the development issue. And on 28th, Prime Minister would be inaugurating and dedicating an international airport at Kushinagar, and that would be very crucial for the Buddhist circuit as far as promoting tourism is concerned. And we are expecting diplomats from other countries as well, and a delegation from Sri Lanka is also visiting. So the party is very much serious about its victory as far as these 5 states are concerned, and UP is very high on the agenda.
Right, clearly that would be high on the agenda. Big ticket states really, UP and Punjab going to polls next year. So specifically what kind of strategy is being formulated for these 2 states?
Well, as far as UP is concerned, and BJP would be focusing on its development issues, because it knows very well that the opposition is a divided house, though Samajwadi Party has already announced that it is going to contest the election on its own, and Congress also promoting Priyanka Gandhi, I beg your pardon. So BJP knows it very well that opposition is a divided house, and it would be, with its development work, it would be able to retain the victory, and that is what there as far as UP is concerned. But when it comes to Punjab, we have had tussle within the Congress party, and the moment Sonia Gandhi said that people do not have to reach me through media, they can directly speak to me, and we have a letter from the from Navjot Singh Sidhu, that was an open letter that shows that all is not well in the Congress party as far as Punjab is concerned. Amrinder Singh is quite upset after he was removed from the Chief Minister's position on Navjot Singh Sidhu and Channi, and all these issues are there. So BJP definitely is going to make inroads, planning to make inroads in Punjab, and this is there in their agenda as well.
All right, Vishal, we'll keep an eye on what's going on over there, and we'll keep taking updates from you later on as well through the day. Thanks a lot for joining us for the time being. Now, Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal is on a 2-day visit to Jammu and Kashmir to participate in various programs aimed at development of the region. Today, Jammu and Kashmir administration signed a memorandum of understanding with the government of Dubai for real estate development, industrial parks, IT towers, multi-purpose towers, logistics, medical college, super specialty hospital, and more. And on the occasion, Piyush Goyal said the MOU signed with the government of Dubai are a big indication of India rapidly becoming a world power, with the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir playing a very important role in it.
पूरे विश्व को भारत के ऊपर आज विश्वास है कि भारत बहुत अहम भूमिका निभाएगा भविष्य में विश्व व्यापार में। उसका एक प्रतीक के रूप में आज ये MOU दुबई सरकार और जम्मू कश्मीर शासन के बीच तय हुआ है और एक पड़ाव है जिसके बाद मैं समझता हूं बड़े रूप में विश्व भर से लोग जम्मू कश्मीर में निवेश करने के लिए आएंगे।
And on the occasion, Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha said that the UT is quite enthralled with the emerging investment opportunities. He added that the amount of investment coming into the region is more than expected.
अनुमान हम लोग कर रहे थे कि 30,000 करोड़ का इन्वेस्टमेंट आएगा, लेकिन आज जिस तरह का उत्साह इंडस्ट्री के लोग दिखा रहे हैं और जो प्रपोजल हमारे पास आए और जिस तरह से आज साहब आए, मुझे लगता है कि ये कहना मुश्किल होगा कि 60,000 करोड़ होगा कि 70,000 करोड़ होगा।
An investor from Dubai, Sultan Ahmed bin, expressed happiness to get the opportunity to invest in Jammu and Kashmir.
We are very pleased about the MOU agreement to cooperate. DP World is very important logistics and transportation in India, more than anybody else with the experience in the business. We are committed to connect Jammu and Kashmir to the rest of India. We know how to do that, we know the obstacles, and today I think the Maiden India initiative will apply to here, and you will see many products coming out of here to the world.
That is, of course, something that is to be celebrated. Now, also in Jammu and Kashmir, local residents have started raising their voice against violence targeting non-locals. A Kashmiri student has come forward urging for peace and harmony.
कश्मीर एक टूरिस्ट डेस्टिनी है जो दुनिया भर में अपनी खूबसूरती से मशहूर है और मेहमान नवाजी से मानी जाती है, मगर आजकल के जो हालात कश्मीर में रोनुमा हुए हैं, इससे ये तशवीश है कि यहाँ का टूरिज्म सेक्टर जो है बिल्कुल कोलैप्स होने का खतरा है, क्योंकि जो नॉन लोकल्स को यहाँ पे टारगेट किया जा रहा है, इससे जो टूरिस्ट है वो गरेज करेंगे यहाँ आने के लिए। हम चाहते हैं अमन हो, क्योंकि वायलेंस किसी भी मसले का हल नहीं है। हम सदियों से हिंदू, मुस्लिम, सिख कश्मीर में एक साथ भाईचारे से रहते आए हैं और हम आइंदा भी आगे भी ऐसे ही भाईचारे के साथ यहाँ पे रहेंगे।
Many such voices and they need to be heard in Jammu and Kashmir. Now, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Shankar is on an official 5-day visit to Israel. He will hold a bilateral meeting with alternate Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of Israel, Yair Lapid. Further, he will also call on President Isaac Herzog, Prime Minister Naftali Bennett and the Knesset Speaker. The External Affairs Minister will also be visiting places of historical significance to India, demonstrating the country's long-term presence in the region and constructive role played in shaping the history of the region. India and Israel elevated bilateral relations to a strategic partnership during the historic visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Israel in July 2017. This is Dr. S. Shankar's first visit to the country as External Affairs Minister. And earlier, Dr. Jaishankar met with the Indian Jewish community in Israel and hailed their manifold contribution to the ties between the two countries. The External Affairs Minister expressed confidence that the Indian Jewish community in Israel will bring the two countries even closer together in the coming years. The minister also expressed sentiments previously echoed by Prime Minister Modi that India's relationship with its Jewish diaspora community in Israel is one of mutual trust and friendship. He added that expansion of innovation and trade partnership between our two knowledge economies is the need of the hour.
We also share similar challenges to our society, agriculture, terrorism, apart from many other emerging developments on the geopolitical landscape. The real thrust, however, is to expand the innovation and trade partnership between our two knowledge economies. For example, while we collaborated to tackle COVID-19, can we take that to the next level? How should we further augment the contact and collaboration between scientists, students, and startups? I'll be discussing these issues and others in my meetings during my visit. Next year marks the 30th anniversary of full diplomatic relations between India and Israel. India is celebrating the 75th year of our own independence. In 2023, Israel too will be celebrating the 75th year of its independence. These occasions are significant milestones to start new voyages and to cover new horizons.
Dr. Jaishankar went on to highlight the community's contribution in enriching India's literature and arts. The External Affairs Minister said that the signature tune of All India Radio has been composed by an Indian Jew.
Of course, the community has excelled as poets and artists in India. The name Nissim readily comes to mind, whom we honor with the Sahitya Academy Award. And people of my generation, in fact, grew up with the signature tune of All India Radio that was composed by a Jewish exile in India, Walter Wolf.
The External Affairs Minister also received a copy of the book Bombay Mumbai City Heritage Walks by Dr. Shaul Sapir. Dr. Sapir, an Indian-born scholar, was a professor at the prestigious Hebrew University of Jerusalem. Earlier, Dr. Jaishankar held a productive meeting with Israeli Chambers of Commerce and the innovation ecosystem. While appreciating their visible enthusiasm for doing more partnerships with India, Jaishankar stressed upon the fact that many post-COVID priorities, including digital health, agriculture and green growth, are natural areas for our collaboration. He also encouraged Israeli businesses to focus more deeply on Indian opportunities and to take advantage of our business-friendly policies. And let's get you more on what is really in store as far as this 5-day visit to Israel is concerned for Dr. S. Jaishankar, External Affairs Minister. Ramesh Ramachandran joins us on that. Ramesh, just tell us in terms of the kind of events, the engagements that Dr. Jaishankar has lined up, this visit, what sort of potential does it have to become really a landmark one? It's being said that it's one that is basically to get things going with the new government in Israel, but it's much beyond that, isn't it?
Absolutely, Gautam. Just to put this visit of External Affairs Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar in its proper context, Gautam, for the benefit of our viewers joining us from home and abroad. Now, this visit has many firsts to it. This is Minister Jaishankar's first visit to Israel as the External Affairs Minister of India. Although he has visited Israel in the past, but this is his first as the Foreign Minister of India. And this is also the first high-level visit between the two countries after the coming to power by Prime Minister Naftali Bennett in Israel in the month of June this year. So this is a significant visit, one which will have an impact on the relationship going forward as well. Now, just to recap for the benefit of our viewers, yesterday he honored the Indian soldiers who laid down their lives in the First World War for the liberation of Haifa in 1918. And then he, as we saw in the report, we interacted with the Indian diaspora. And just to give a perspective here, Gautam, besides Walter Kaufman, who composed that signature tune of the All India Radio, many other Jewish exiles in India have enriched Indian life, culture and society. Just to name a few, Lieutenant General J.F.R. Jacob of the Indian Army played a vital role in the 1971 Liberation War of Bangladesh. And of course, there's also the poet and writer Nizam Ezekiel, who enriched Indian writing in English as well. Now, later today, Gautam, Minister Jaishankar will have a bilateral meeting with his Israeli counterpart, Yair Lapid. And later in the evening, he will have the four-way foreign ministerial talks, which involve India, Israel, the UAE, and the US as well. That's something to look forward to. And also remember, next year, that's 2022. India and Israel celebrate the 30th anniversary of the ties. It was established in 1992. That's also another landmark event to look forward to.
Certainly. And let's talk a bit more about this four-way meeting that you talked about. A lot is being speculated about it. What can we really say about it that may emerge substantially from it?
Well, Gautam, this is going to be a significant engagement of Minister Jaishankar during his 5-day visit to Israel. As I mentioned, this is a quadrilateral or a four-way talk between the foreign ministers of India, Israel, the UAE and the US. Remember, the foreign ministers of the US, Israel and the UAE met just a few days ago in the US to discuss about trilateral cooperation in various facets of human endeavor, focusing on the Middle East or West Asia as we in India call it. But this event happening later today will be a video conference between the four principals, and one can expect to hear from the Indian side going forward as to what India will like to put on the table for these four-way talks, including in the areas of COVID-19 pandemic, supply chain resilience, artificial intelligence and so on and so forth. So this is a key meeting, something which India has been working for and working towards for some time now.
Okay. Lots to look forward to then as far as this trip of Dr. S. Jaishankar is concerned to Israel, and we'll keep tabs on that with you later on as well. Ramesh, thanks for the time being. Now, Minister of State for External Affairs and Parliamentary Affairs V. Muralidharan arrived in Khartoum, the Sangam of two Niles, that is the blue and the white, which is the capital of Sudan. Upon arrival, the minister tweeted that he was touched by the warmth at the reception, which is a true reflection of our age-old ties. He also said that he looks forward to meeting the leadership, businesses and Indian community in Sudan over the next 2 days. Later on, between the 20th and the 22nd of October, the minister will be visiting the Republic of South Sudan as well. This is his first visit to both countries. Now let's get to the latest on the COVID front. Well, India continues to battle the COVID-19 pandemic with all might. With timely tracing, tracking and treatment, the country has managed to contain the spread of the deadly virus. 13,596 new cases were reported in the country over Sunday, which is the lowest figure over the last 230 days. That's about 8 months. The recovery rate is highest since March 2020 and is currently at 98.12%. 19,582 patients have recovered in the last 24 hours as well, which has increased total recoveries to 3,34,39,331. Active cases account for less than 1% of total cases. Active cases are currently at 0.56%, which is the lowest since March 2020. Active caseload stands at 1,89,694, which is again the lowest in 221 days. Weekly positivity rate remains below 3% for the last 115 days. It's now at 1.37%. Daily positivity rate is less than 3% for the last 49 days, and now it is at 1.37%. Testing capacity has been ramped up over the country. Over 59.19 crore samples have been tested so far across the country as well. And if you talk about what's happening on the vaccination front, well, the cumulative COVID-19 vaccination coverage is inching closer to the 100 crore mark. 97.79 crore vaccine doses have been administered so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. Over 12 lakh vaccine doses have been administered in the last 24 hours. Uttarakhand has administered the first dose of COVID vaccine to its entire eligible population 3 months ahead of target. Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami said a total of 74 lakh people in the state have been administered the first dose of the vaccine. He said 34.68 lakh people have been given the second dose as well. The Uttarakhand Chief Minister has thanked all government, private and voluntary organizations involved in the exercise. He also thanked Prime Minister Narendra Modi for raising the supply of vaccine doses for the state from August onwards. And in Maharashtra, ever since the COVID-19 pandemic broke out in March 2020, Mumbai for the first time saw no new deaths due to the infection. On the other hand, the number of daily recoveries in the metropolis saw an upsurge. On Sunday, 518 persons got cured of COVID-19, while the city reported 367 new cases of COVID-19. The city is now left with only 5,030 active cases. Schools in Goa reopened today for classes 9 to 12. Schools have to follow COVID-19 guidelines and standard operating procedures after attending schools. Masks, temperature checks and sanitization are mandatory at the entry gates of all institutions, and even the staff should be checked before entry. And schools in Sikkim have also reopened today for junior classes. The Himalayan state had reopened schools for students studying from classes 9 to 12 from the 27th of September. Schools in Chandigarh have also reopened for all classes. Children are being allowed in with masks and only with the consent of parents. Moving on now, the second edition of 5-day Naval Commanders Conference of 2021 began in New Delhi. The conference serves as a platform for naval commanders to discuss important maritime matters at the military strategic level, as well as interacting with senior government officials through an institutionalized forum. During the conference, Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh will address and interact with the naval commanders on matters pertaining to national security. Amongst many issues being discussed, the Chief of Naval Staff, along with other naval commanders, will review major operational, material, logistics, human resource development, training and administrative activities undertaken by the Indian Navy in the last few months and deliberate upon future plans for important activities and initiatives. Due to the rapidly changing geostrategic situation in the region, the significance and importance of the conference is manifold. The Chief of Defence Staff and Chiefs of Indian Army and Indian Air Force would also interact with the naval commanders to address convergence of the three services vis-a-vis the operational environment and on avenues for augmenting tri-service synergy. And it's time now to get you all the updates from the business and economy world as well. But oil prices hit their highest in years as demand continues its recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic, boosted by more custom from power generators turning away from expensive gas and coal to fuel oil and diesel. Brent crude oil futures rose 87% or 1% to 85.73 USD a barrel, the highest price since October 2018. US West Texas Intermediate crude futures climbed 1.12 USD or 1.4% to 83.40 USD a barrel, highest since October 2014. Both contracts rose by at least 3% last week. Indian markets rose 1% today. Sensex hit a record high of 61,938, while Nifty touched an all-time high of 18,543 points so far today. Banks and financials as metal stocks were the biggest gainers. In Asia, though, markets fell after China's economic growth slowed further. And now let's take a quick look at what's making headlines across the globe as well. The junta in Myanmar will release more than 5,000 people jailed for protesting against a February coup that ousted the civilian government. A total of 5,636 prisoners will be freed to mark the Thading Youth Festival later in October. The junta chief said days after he was excluded from a regional summit over his government's commitment to defusing the bloody crisis. More than 7,300 people are currently behind bars across the country, according to the Assistance Association for Political Prisoners. Myanmar authorities released more than 2,000 anti-coup protesters from prisons across the country in July, including journalists critical of the military government. Those still in custody include the American journalist Danny Fenster, who's been held since being arrested on the 24th of May. 17 missionaries from the United States and Canada were kidnapped in Haiti on Saturday. The group of 16 US citizens and 1 Canadian citizen includes 5 men, 7 women and 5 children. The kidnapping took place after the missionaries left an orphanage in the crisis-engulfed Caribbean nation. The kidnappers have already made contact with the organization. Officials say they were kidnapped by the 400 Movazo gang, also blamed for the kidnapping of Catholic clergy in April. Haiti has one of the highest rates of kidnapping in the world. Kidnappings have surged in Haiti throughout 2021, with numbers rising nearly 300% since July. And now to get you all the updates from different arenas of sports. And we're talking cricket first because that's what we have with, of course, Samriddhi.
Thank you, Gautam. Good afternoon and welcome to Sports Prime. And like you said, cricket is first up. India will take on England in their first warm-up game of the T20 World Cup 2021 today at the ICC Academy ground in Dubai. Virat Kohli, who will step down from T20I captaincy after the T20 World Cup, will look to find the perfect combination when the inaugural champions will be up against Eoin Morgan-led England before the start of the Super 12 stage. Now, both India and England have already qualified for the Super 12 round as they are among the top 8 of the ICC T20 ranking. The top 4 teams from the qualifiers will join India, West Indies, Australia, South Africa, Afghanistan, Pakistan, England and New Zealand for Super 12s. India will also in fact take on arch rivals Pakistan in the Super 12 meeting on October 24th. In T20 World Cup, a look at today's matches at the T20 World Cup. A team which has a penchant for beating higher ranked sides at major tournaments, Ireland, will begin their first round campaign against a rising Netherlands at the Sheikh Zayed Stadium in Abu Dhabi today. The Group A match will be vital to hopes of both the teams progressing to the Super 12 stages. The Netherlands have reasons to be confident, having won 7 of their 12 T20Is against Ireland, and they also come out on top in their recent ODI series. Ireland have registered the World Cup victories over Pakistan, England, West Indies, Zimbabwe and Bangladesh. Now firmly established as a force to be reckoned with, they can both make a statement and take a big step forward in the tournament. Ireland surprised many by reaching the second round of the T20 World Cup in 2009, their debut tournament, and they haven't made it further than the first round in their 4 tournaments since, missing out on net run rate in 2014. This time, they will be chasing their first win in a T20 World Cup tournament since 2014. And in another match, Sri Lanka and Namibia are set to lock horns today. Namibia are returning to the big stage after 18 years, and on paper, Sri Lanka are the favourites. But it will not be an easy outing for Dasun Shanaka and company. The Gerhard Erasmus-led side has recently done well and are known for putting up good fights. With luck, they can go deep into the tournament. This will be their first meeting in the T20Is. Overall, Sri Lanka have played 140 T20Is, winning 63 and losing 75. And in the last 10 outings, they have only won twice, both against India in July. Namibia have an 18-4 win-loss record in their previous 22 T20 outings, and they are on a 6-match winning run. And in T20 Cricket World Cup, Scotland stun-fancied Bangladesh by 6 runs after Chris Greaves' magnificent all-round display for a dream start in the ICC T20 World Cup on an eventful Sunday night in Oman. Now, Greaves led a brilliant lower-order fight back with a 28-ball 45 as Scotland recovered from a hopeless situation to post 140 for 9 in their first round Group B opener of the T20 showpiece. Invited to bat first, Scotland were reeling at 53 for 6 in the 12th over before Greaves added 51 runs with Mark Watt to prop up Scotland. In response, Bangladesh was stopped at 134 for 7. And this was in their allotted quota of 20 overs, with Greaves returning excellent figures of 2 for 19 in 3 overs, which included the vital wickets of star all-rounder Shakib Al Hasan and the seasoned Mushfiqur Rahim. Now, this is also Scotland's second win in the World Cup, the first coming in 2016 edition of the tournament against Hong Kong. Next in soccer, Tottenham Hotspur spoiled Newcastle United's takeover celebrations after claiming a 3-2 victory at St James Park on Sunday. Tanguy Ndombele, Harry Kane and Son Heung-min all scored in the first half after Callum Wilson had given Newcastle an early lead. Eric Dyer scored a late own goal, but Steve Bruce was unable to steer his side to victory on his 100th match in management. The game was marked by a medical emergency in the stands, which caused play to be temporarily suspended just before half-time. Well, that's all for now in sports. Back to you, Gautam.
Thank you, Samriddhi, and that's all we have for the moment in Midday Prime as well, but we'll keep tracking the weather situation, the rains that are taking place in the north all along and even to the south in Kerala, and the new weather system that is developing in the east and the northeast of the country as well. So stay with us for that one as well and keep watching DD India.